Hi, and welcome back to Beans and Bezels. I like the idea of a one-hand watch. I agree that it's a silly way to present the time, but I also think that three-hand watches are a pretty silly way to tell the time when you have a cell phone that you're looking at all the time anyway. There's something about single-hand watches that says, I don't really care enough to be precise or punctual, but I'd like something better than a guesstimate of what time it is. It sounds like the perfect recipe for a holiday watch, and with the 200 meters of water resistance, this MeisterSinger Metris might actually be a great option for a holiday watch. The MeisterSinger Metris has a retail price of 1,795 US dollars and is offered in a few different case and dial colors, with a few strap options for each selection as well. This is the blue Metris, which was originally purchased on the light blue textile strap. Let's check it out. When I first saw photographs of this watch, I liked what the case looked like, but I didn't expect to like it this much. The design is fantastic and definitely feels like a sports watch while also being interesting and versatile. I measured the case to be 38.5mm at its shortest points, but 40mm in average diameter across the 4 o'clock and 10 o'clock positions, 44.3mm from lug to lug and 11.15mm tall. The case is made of stainless steel, has a fixed polished bezel and a mid-case that combines plenty of beautiful brushed and polished surfaces that might make you think this was designed by Seiko or Grand Seiko. I love the lug design, the way the case effortlessly curves into them and the polished surface running down the sides. Great stuff here. The lug width is 20mm and the lugs are not drilled through. The crystal is slightly curved and doesn't have the best AR coating, which means you'll catch a few unwanted reflections. But given how legible the dial is, there isn't much of an issue here. There is a 5.25mm screw-down crown at the 3 o'clock position that is protected by a well-integrated pair of crown guards that feels a bit like Panerai, but in a smaller and more elegant form factor. Flipping it over, you have a solid screw-down case back with some text on it, and this watch is rated for up to 200 meters of water resistance. The dial presents a unique experience, but on its own, it's quite simple and traditional. The base of the dial is a matte finish and in blue in color with printed dial elements. There is a printed outer track that serves as the primary timekeeping scale, and you can think of it as being graduated for minutes, with every short tick being an increment of 5 minutes, the medium ticks being 15-minute increments and 30-minute increments, and the larger ticks indicating the hours. The hour markers also have double-digit Arabic numerals for all the markers except at the 6 o'clock. The quality of printing is good and the hour markers are Lume too. There is a date window at the 6 o'clock position that has a white date wheel and black text. A color matched date wheel might have been nice, but the white date wheel doesn't look too much out of place. There is a cyclops window above the date window and the watch name printed above the window in white. The single hand carries the entire dial and watch and is oversized with a sporty taper, making this watch look like a tachometer of a car. The entire hand is painted white and is loomed. The finishing looks good and the proportions are good too. Getting used to the 5-minute intervals is easy, but I tend to just approximate the time in 15-minute increments with this one, and I kind of like the somewhat laid-back attitude. The lume on this watch isn't the best, given the painted hand and somewhat lightly painted hour numerals, but I don't think anyone with a single-hand watch is looking for a tool watch-like nighttime viewing experience, so I think it can be excused. The hand has a lot of surface area and lasts a bit longer than the numerals, and the lume is good enough for quick bright to dark transitions. Here it is compared with my Zen U50 SDRT, which is a more capable diver, also with printed dial elements but much more generously loomed. This watch uses an ETA 2824-2 or Solita SW200-1 movement based on availability, and is modified to support the single 12-hour hand display style. This is a reasonable movement choice for the price. I measured plus 5 seconds per day on average in the dial up position and plus 5 seconds per day on average in the crown up position too, so good performance. The supposed 38mm wears a lot more like a 40mm diameter watch, and the 44.3mm lug to lug width wears great on my wrist, and the 11.15mm height with the flat case back helps it stay low on the wrist as well. I'm not a big fan of this NATO strap because I'm not a fan of NATO straps in general, and I also think this color doesn't really work. I will say that it has a lot more it delivers a lot more comfortable of an experience on a two-piece strap, and it's just a lot more sleek and refined. Overall, I like this watch. I mostly like it just because of how different of an experience it is. I love the laid back attitude of a single hand watch, and I think the design is really well executed. Both the dial and the case are excellent, and this watch seems to live up to its price tag. The Lume isn't the best, and I'm not a huge fan of this NATO strap. There are other strap options, and I don't think the target audience for this watch will be too picky about Lume. So, all said, I think these watches are worth checking out, even if it's just to experience for a few weeks or months. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to read my other reviews in the link below.